Welcome to the video tutorial on the scenes and the playlist. The scenes and the playlist stand in the center of your digital signage presentation as they allow you to create animated content which you can run on your screens. Scenes are nothing more than just a canvas where you can place your content, videos, images, smart components, and the playlist allows you to sequence the scenes one after the other. So let's jump right in. So once you log into your account, go ahead and switch to scenes. Here we have one pre-made scene that came with our template. We can create a blank scene just by setting the width and the height. We can also go to the wizard and we'll just give it a name. We can set a category. You can decide if you want to have the ability to assign this scene to a remote signage player. Now if you want to create a sub-scene or a nested scene, you don't have to do this, and I'll go ahead and talk about nested scenes later. But for now, we'll go ahead and keep it as assignable. You can also ask the system to create the first playlist for you. So let's go ahead and just do that. So we'll have one playlist inside our scene. Next, you can set the dimensions of the scene, whether you want it horizontal or vertical. So we'll just keep it horizontal with a default high definition of 1920 by 1080. And it's asking us next, where do we want to place the playlist that we've selected? So we'll just have it placed right here to the left. We don't have any running players right now, so we're not going to assign our scene to a running player since we haven't registered any remote signage players just yet. And this is the summary. Let's go ahead and create our scene. So here's the scene that was created for us. Let's go ahead and zoom out. We have the playlist on the left and our text label on the right. Let's add some text. Change the properties. All pretty straightforward. Next, let's go ahead and add some items to our playlist. So if I select the playlist and go to its properties, you can tell right here that I can add additional items onto my playlist. So let's go ahead and click on the star right here to add some content. And I can add images from my account. And I can drag and drop to change the order. I can change the duration. And this playlist will simply play the content one after the other. Let's go ahead and prove this. Click on the play right here to preview our presentation. And you can see that I have my label and the content is cycling through the different images. And notice that if I change the size, everything is maintaining its proper dimension. And the reason for that is because both of my resources right now, if I go to the layout, are set to auto scaling. Now if I don't have the auto scaling on and I click on play, you'll notice that the content will get cut off. And as you may remember, this playlist right here came from the wizard. So if you wanted to add your own playlist, simply go to the import and components. You can add another playlist if you want. And also if you wanted to add a label, RSS, all those different components are available for you. And let's just go ahead and demo a few of them. Change the properties for the clock. We'll set it just so it's time only. And also change its properties as well for the font. Nothing too attractive right now, but just so you get the idea. And for this playlist, I actually want to play a video, and I don't have any videos right now. So what I'll do is I'll switch over here back to my resources, and again click on the star right here, and here you can find a nice library of resources. So let's go ahead and search for a video. So this is a nice video of sky. Let's go ahead and import it into the platform. Switch back to our scenes. Go to my playlist. Just like before, click on the star, go to videos, filter by videos, select my video and import it. And actually let's add a couple more just regular images as well. And let's view the presentation one more time. So here we have the presentation running, we have the video, and it's just switch to the image. We have the RSS news ticker and the clock. Everything was super easy to set up, and we're pretty much up and running. If this was a beautiful presentation, we could already deploy it to our remote screen, but I think we need some more work. And since I'm not really a graphic designer, I don't want to go through the trouble of setting up an entire scene. So what I'll do is I'll switch back to the scenes, click over here again on the star, and here I have scenes to choose from. So since I'm pretty techie, I'm going to go to the computer category and go ahead and import a scene that I like, give it a name, and import it. So as you can see, we have a ton of content for you to choose from, and you don't have to create anything from scratch. So at this point I can just change the text. All super easy to do. Also, if you want to add videos directly or any type of resources directly, simply go to resources and you can drag and drop whatever content you want. Now notice that the video right now is on top of my label, so if I wanted to fix that, simply go to the tree and I can drag and drop and put the video below the label. Maybe we'll change the color here. And again, let's quickly view this. Just a quick and simple presentation without really having to create too much content. Next, let's go ahead and demonstrate the timeline of the playlist. So if you have a situation where you have a very long playlist, it might be useful to actually see the timeline of the playlist in a more visual format. So let's go ahead and switch back to our playlist. And notice that we have this playlist button right here to open the timeline. And here I'm able to control visually the timeline, so I can see the length of each item. If I have multiple playlists, I can switch between those playlists within this particular scene. I can also do a show all if I want to see the relationship between the multiple timelines. So I can see the two timelines and I can set the duration of each content in relation to the other. So it makes it very convenient when you're working on multiple playlists within a single scene. And of course, I'm still able to use the properties and change the order just like before. And if you're not sure where these playlists are, again, always refer back to your tree. And you can see that I have two playlists, one right here and another one right there. If you want to rename your playlist, go to its properties, call this right, and we'll call this our left playlist. Next, I'll go ahead and demonstrate embedded scenes. So let's go ahead and create a brand new scene. Click on the plus sign. Let's call it embedded scene. Give it a small size. We'll go ahead and drag and drop a label. And we'll switch back to our computer scene. Go to import, scenes, drag and drop my embedded scene. And you can see that I can include it in other scenes. So I've embedded the test scene into the My Store computer scene. Let's go and switch out, go to my demo scene, just like before, go to scenes, embedded scene, drag and drop, and here's my scene again. Next, I'll go ahead and switch out and go back to my embedded scene, and now I'll call this hello, switch out, and switch back to my computer scene, and you can see it says hello. So this is really powerful, as it allows you to create content that you can embed in multiple scenes, and then all you have to do is simply make a change once, and it propagates to every scene that uses this embedded scene. So embedded scenes allows you to create a very modular configuration. We're also going to talk about embedded scenes later on when we talk about the weather components and some other things, but for this video tutorial, that's all you need to know about embedded scenes. Next, let's go and switch back to our demo scene and select our playlist. And you'll see here that I can also include in my playlist not just resources, but also embedded scenes. So click on the star for content, go to scenes, select my embedded scene, drag and drop it so it's first, click on preview, and here's my embedded scene, and within 5 seconds it will switch into my content. Now, before wrapping up this video, I just wanted to touch on one more concept, which is the alignment of content within your scene. So let's go ahead and switch back to our computer scene. You notice that my background right now is locked, so I cannot move it. So I simply can select items on top of it. Now, if I unlock it, I will be able to resize the content of the element, which is the background, just an image. If you wanted to align this content, let's go ahead and zoom out a little bit. As I mentioned earlier, if you select any resource or any component for that matter and go to its properties under layout, you can set to auto scaling. Another cool feature is that you can actually lock it to the sides of the actual scene. So in this case, what we'll do is let's go ahead and take the auto scaling off, and we'll anchor the content to be, let's say, 11 pixels from the left, right, top, and bottom. So you see there's a small gap right now. So this gap is always going to be maintained regardless of the screen resolution, and it's going to respect this little space. So let's go and demo this. And you can see there's a small gap right here of 11 pixels all around. Even if I resize my scene, the gap is still respected. Now, to make your designing experience better, we have a lot of tools here that you can take advantage of. So let's go ahead and make my browser a little bit smaller so you can see all the tools right here. And so you'll see that if I select any element, right now it's magnetized. So you can enable and disable the magnetized right here. So now it's no longer magnetized to other elements. Now, if you wanted to be able to align items easily on a ruler, simply select this tool right here, the ruler, and you can create different alignments. So we'll just select this one right here. Now it's super easy to align content. If you wanted to add additional lines, simply drag and drop from the corner of the rulers, and you can add additional rulers. To turn them off, simply go to the properties and turn the show off. Now, if I'm going to try and drag and drop the background, you'll see that it's simply going to jump back to its original position because it's locked through its properties under layout, which is fine. But since I want to select both these labels, I'm going to have to make sure that I lock it in place. Now it's locked, so I can't even select it. And now I'm able to select multiple items. And then I'm able to align these simply by selecting one of these alignment tools. So if I want to put them both on the left, super easy to do. So the last thing that's left is to run our presentation on a remote signage player. We'll register a player, select our scene, give our player name, and here's our presentation running just as expected. And to remote control it, let's switch back to our studio. We'll switch to players. You can see that I'm not seeing my player just yet, so I'm just going to refresh. And here's my remote signage player. Take a snapshot, and everything is working as expected. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and thanks for watching.